10 Canadian cities that will disappear by 2030. Have you ever imagined that one day the city you live in could turn into a ghost town? The image of empty streets, abandoned houses, and no sign of life seems like something straight out of a horror movie, right? But the frightening truth is that some cities in Canada are on the brink of decline. By 2030, places once bustling and full of life could be abandoned, eerily quiet, and forgotten. Why is this happening? The reasons are shocking, from the collapse of key industries and population migration to the unforeseen impacts of climate change. In this video, we'll take you through 10 cities in Canada that are on the verge of being abandoned in the next decade. Some places will surprise you with their inclusion on this list, but that's the reality. And the most notable thing, one city is predicted by experts to have almost no chance of survival. Get ready to discover Canada's future ghost towns, starting now. At 10. Fort McMurray, Alberta. Kicking off our list is Fort McMurray, a city closely tied to Canada's famous oil boom. Located deep in northern Alberta, Fort McMurray once thrived thanks to the oil sands industry, attracting thousands of workers from across the country. However, with the global shift towards cleaner energy sources and fluctuating oil demand, the city's future is increasingly uncertain. The devastating 2016 wildfire severely damaged Fort McMurray, destroying vast areas and forcing thousands to evacuate. Though it has partially recovered, the economic losses remain significant. The community relies heavily on the oil industry, but as major oil companies cut investments and pivot toward renewable energy, job stability here has declined. Environmental damage from oil extraction has also led to serious degradation, making Fort McMurray less appealing as a long-term home. If these challenges aren't addressed, Fort McMurray could become a ghost town before 2030. Number 9. Churchill, Manitoba. Next up is Churchill, a small yet famous town on the shores of Hudson Bay, known for its polar bears and stunning natural beauty. Nicknamed the polar bear capital of the world, Churchill attracts thousands of tourists eager to see these majestic creatures. But behind this allure lies a concerning reality about the town's future. Churchill's geographic isolation makes it heavily reliant on rail and air for goods and services. When the railway was damaged by flooding in 2017, the town was virtually cut off for 18 months, revealing its vulnerability. Moreover, the local economy depends on seasonal tourism. If visitors decline, especially if climate change continues to affect the polar bears, Churchill may struggle to maintain its population. Without sustainable development, Churchill could become a forgotten destination by 2030. Number 8. Timmins, Ontario. Deep in northern Ontario, Timmins was once a thriving city thanks to gold mining. With massive gold deposits, the city attracted thousands of workers and flourished for over a century. But the gold rush is fading, and with mines depleting, Timmins' future is looking bleak. As mining companies scale back or leave, jobs in Timmins are disappearing rapidly. This has prompted younger residents to migrate to bigger cities in search of better opportunities. With dwindling resources and no clear economic diversification, Timmins risks losing its appeal. By 2030, this city, once a symbol of Canada's mining industry, may be little more than a relic of its golden past. Number 7. Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sydney, located on Cape Breton Island, was once a bustling industrial hub fueled by coal and steel. However, when these industries collapsed, Sydney faced major challenges. The closure of the steel plant in the early 2000s plunged the local economy into crisis, leading to high unemployment and a mass exodus of young people in search of new opportunities. Today, Sydney's population is mostly retirees, and the city continues to struggle with population decline due to a lack of attractive job prospects for younger generations. Efforts to revitalize the economy, such as developing tourism around the area's natural beauty and historical heritage, have been slow and insufficient for sustainable growth. Even more concerning is the severe environmental pollution left behind by decades of steel production, which has reduced the city's attractiveness. Without decisive measures to improve these conditions, Sydney could continue to decline, and by 2030, it may become another forgotten post-industrial town. Number 6. Flin, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. Straddling the Manitoba and Saskatchewan border, Flin is a unique town that was once a bustling mining centre for copper and zinc. However, Flon's future is bleak as the mining industry continues to decline. Hudbay Minerals, the town's main employer, announced plans to close the mine in 2025, marking the end of the primary source of income for the local population. With the mining industry shutting down, Flon is facing a severe economic crisis. Residents, particularly younger people, have already begun leaving to seek better opportunities elsewhere. The town's remote location further exacerbates its difficulties in attracting new businesses or industries. Despite being surrounded by beautiful natural landscapes, Flon's geographic isolation makes it vulnerable to economic shifts. Without a solid plan for economic diversification, the collapse of the mining industry could turn Flon into a ghost town. By 2030, the image of a once prosperous community may be nothing more than a distant memory. For 5. Saguenay, Quebec. Saguenay, known for its breathtaking natural landscapes and a strong industrial history, was once a major aluminum production hub in Canada. However, as the aluminum industry faces fierce global competition and rising production costs, Saguenay has fallen on hard times. The city's economy is overly reliant on aluminum production, making it particularly vulnerable to fluctuations in the international market. The decline of this industry has led to factory downsizing, causing widespread job losses and prompting residents, especially younger generations, to leave for better opportunities elsewhere. Additionally, the environmental issues associated with aluminum production, such as high energy consumption and pollution, have further diminished Saguenay's appeal. While there have been efforts to diversify the economy, progress has been slow and insufficient to turn the situation around. Without a shift toward more sustainable economic sectors, Saguenay could see its population continue to dwindle. By 2030, this once proud industrial city may face the grim reality of becoming a ghost city, with only memories of its industrial glory days remaining. Number 4. Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Prince Rupert, a small coastal city, was once viewed as a strategic gateway for international trade, with shipping and fishing being economic pillars. But today, Prince Rupert is facing serious challenges. As global trade patterns shift and stricter regulations hit the fishing and forestry industries, the city's former prosperity has faded. The number of ships passing through its port has dropped significantly, and the fishing industry, a major revenue source, is in crisis due to overfishing and environmental concerns. This has led to job losses and forced younger people to leave the city, seeking economic growth in larger urban centers. In addition, rising sea levels due to climate change threaten Prince Rupert's port infrastructure, and stronger storms and coastal erosion pose an increasing risk to the city's future. If these trends continue, declining population combined with economic and environmental challenges could leave Prince Rupert abandoned by 2030, losing its status as a strategic gateway. For 3. Brook, Newfoundland and Labrador. Brook, a small city with a rich history in the forest products and paper production industries, is now facing major challenges as these industries lose their prominence. The local paper mill, once a source of pride, has had to cut back production and lay off workers, resulting in population decline and rising unemployment. The remote location of Brook exacerbates its economic struggles, making it difficult to attract new investors or industries. The city not only faces economic issues, but is also impacted by climate change. Harsh winters and unpredictable weather patterns are taking a toll on local life and the economy. If it doesn't undergo a major transformation, Brook may continue losing residents, and by 2030, it risks becoming one of Canada's ghost towns, where only memories of industrial prosperity remain. Number 2. Windsor, Ontario. Once hailed as the automotive capital of Canada, Windsor has been synonymous with the auto industry for decades. But in recent years, Windsor has been rocked by dramatic changes in the global automotive industry. The rise of electric vehicles and automation has reduced the demand for human labor in manufacturing plants. As a result, many factories in Windsor have scaled back operations or shut down completely, leaving thousands of workers unemployed. Additionally, Windsor has struggled to diversify its economy. The city is too dependent on manufacturing, with few alternative options as the auto industry declines. This has led to an exodus of young people seeking better job opportunities in cities with more dynamic economies. If Windsor fails to adapt to these rapid economic changes, the city could face significant decline by 2030, and from a once thriving industrial hub, Windsor may become a post-industrial ghost town. Number 1. Thompson, Manitoba. Thompson, located in the remote north of Manitoba, has long been considered the hub of the north, thanks to its nickel mining industry. But with the mining sector in decline, Thompson's future looks grim. Vale, the city's largest employer, has significantly scaled back its operations, triggering waves of job losses. The city, already struggling to attract residents due to its harsh climate and remote location, now faces even greater challenges as mining jobs disappear. Thompson's geographic isolation and lack of economic diversity further heighten its difficulties in maintaining its population and attracting new investment. Without major changes, Thompson could see a significant population decline by 2030. From a prosperous mining hub, the city could become a ghost town, where residents are forced to leave in search of better opportunities elsewhere. As we've explored through this journey of 10 Canadian cities at risk of being abandoned by 2030, economic challenges, climate change, and the decline of key industries are pushing many places into difficult situations. These once thriving cities, if they don't make significant transformations, may only be shadows of their former selves, with empty streets and abandoned houses. However, this also raises an important question. Is there any way to save them? Economic diversification, investment in sustainable development, and addressing climate change are potential solutions. But without timely action, the future of these cities will be nothing but a sad chapter in Canada's history. What do you think? Are there other cities facing similar risks? Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any interesting videos coming up. Thanks for watching.